day to everyone watching, and welcome back to another All the Talk, All the Sports episode. I'm your host, Gary Wenzel, and today's episode, we have the sports leagues plan for return coming at you today. We've been talking about that a lot here on the podcast, what steps are leagues taking to get back into play and being able to play, hopefully, by July. I know there's there's two leagues that have plans reinstated already and are ready to go, and they just have to wait for the go-ahead. NBA is one of them. They actually have a date ready. So without further ado, let's get right into on this day in sports history segment. In 1974, on this day, today is June 4th, the NFL granted the Seattle Seahawks a NFL franchise. Big news for the Seahawks. That's where their program team in Seattle kicked off, was on this day, June 4th, in 1974. So without further ado, let's get right into our sports leagues plan for return episode. Let's start with the NHL. This is a team that got cut off, their season cut off, I believe, March 12th. Haven't been playing since. We're going on the verge here of 3 months, and they won't be playing for about 4 months, I'm predicting. So here's the plan they haven't stated. The NHL, 24-team playoff, they have granted that. This is official wording, by the way, if you guys don't know. Best 12 teams from each conference based on their point percentage in their regular season. There will be 2 hub cities, 1 from each conference. Those have not been decided yet. Essentially, all the Eastern Conference teams will go to that hub city. Western Conference teams will go to the other hub city. Then the games will just be played at that arena. Those will be cities that host NHL teams. There will be 10 cities. 2 will be picked at a later date, building off of that. And it will play out later. I'm predicting mid-July, late July, because that's what the NBA is going to do. So we haven't discussed this yet, but I'm going to tell you the format of how this 24-team playoff is going to work. The NHL has decided to cut all of regular season games done, cut them short, because there were about double-digit games for sure yet. So, top 4 seeds, Eastern Conference, top 4 seeds, Western Conference. Then, I believe there are 8 teams in the other one. That is a total of 12. So, the top 4 seeds will play each other in a round-robin type tournament to see the seeding after the other 8 teams play each other, and then they'll move on kind of into a second round of the playoffs. So, number 1 in the Eastern Conference is the Boston Bruins, had 100 points in the regular season, best team in the NHL right now going into this. Number 2, Tampa Bay Lightning, this is for the Eastern Conference. Number 3, Washington Capitals, and number 4, Philadelphia Flyers. Those teams will play round-robin in the hub city for the Eastern Conference to determine seeding on who they're going to play in the next 4 teams after 4 teams are eliminated from these 8 that I'm about to read. It'll go the 5, Pittsburgh Penguins versus the 12, Montreal Canadiens, and the 6, Carolina Hurricanes versus the number 11, New York Rangers from Madison Square Garden. Big arena there. Not going to be able to play. It is not a hub city potential. Number 7 is the New York Islanders. They will take on the number 10 Florida Panthers. And number 8 and number 9 seed, we have the number 8 Toronto Maple Leafs and the number 9 Columbus Blue Jackets. So that's what the Eastern Conference is looking like. And then for the Western Conference, same thing. Number 1, St. Louis Blues, reigning Stanley Cup champions. Number 2 is the Colorado Avalanche. Number 3, Vegas Golden Knights, and number 4, the Dallas Stars. Moving into the matchups that we're going to see right away is the 5, Edmonton Oilers. They're going head-to-head against the number 12, Chicago Blackhawks, and the number 6, Predators of Nashville take on the number 11, Coyotes from Arizona. Number 7, Vancouver Canucks will take on the number 10, Minnesota Wild, and the number 8, Calgary Flames will play the number 9 Winnipeg Jets. So those are all the playoff teams that are in the playoffs for this 24-team playoff situation. 7 teams didn't make it. 24 did. Gonna be fun to watch. Bunch of games back-to-back. I'm really excited to watch that one. So moving on to the other winter sport, we have the NBA. The NBA 22 playoff plan. This has been officially approved as of today. They have a date. I'm pumped for it, as a lot of other NBA fans are. As I said before, a 22-team playoff plan. The playoffs teams are not set yet because they are going to discuss that. They are going to have 8 regular season games left for each team in the NBA, and then once that, the season will technically end, and then they'll take the 22-team playoffs and move forward with that. The season will... before I get to that, the 22-team playoff, not like the NHL where they're going to take the same amount from the one conference and the same amount from the other. That's just the 22 best teams in the NBA at the end of the regular season. So this plan is set to start in July 31st in Orlando, Disney. We've talked about that on previous podcasts. That was the plan, and that's the plan they decided to go with. So a lot of NBA fans are really excited for this. Getting a term date. People are going to call off work, call off their jobs, free their schedule. It's going to be fun. A couple of days to start off. It's going to be more than a couple of days to start off for the NBA to watch that on TV. So moving down the list to college football, practices are set to start this Monday. This Monday is June 8th. A lot of colleges are going to start. Every Power 5 college, Big D1 school is going to start. So that's going to be exciting for the college football world. Hoping for a new season with fans in the stands. Not so sure that's going to happen, but it is a big hope for college football. You see the NBA, the NHL returning to play. Definitely look forward to college football. They're going to play for 100% sure. Regular season might not be as many fans in the stands, or there might not be fans at all in the stands, but there is definitely going to be college football on TV. Moving into the next football league, we have the NFL. They return to normal activities very soon. The NFL will be returning to normal camps, practices, coaches will start working again. All the personnel will be back in their facilities, getting ready for the 2020-2021 season. Hoping the exact same thing for college football. Just get underway with the regular season. Hopefully have fans in the stands. Not so sure that they'll have fans in the stands as well. So lastly, we have the MLB coming in. This is a very interesting topic, very interesting league that is discussing, and of all the things, they're the ones that should be knowing, in my opinion, they're the ones that should be knowing what's going to happen very soon, because they're the ones that technically are in season. Every other sport should be in the off season right now. MLB doesn't know what they're doing compared to the other 3 main professional sports leagues. So let's get right into talking about the MLB, because there is a lot behind that. As I mentioned earlier about the MLB, this is all over the place. They've been back and forth with owners and the MLB actually proposing things to the MLB Players Association, and each of them are shooting them down, shooting each other's ideas down. But at the end of the day, you got to come together knowing that this is it's going to be a different year, a different season, and things are going to have to... You're going to eventually have to accept something, whether it be the MLB or the MLB Players Association. There's been lots of talk. I heard the MLB is actually said, they've released a statement that they will not be accepting any more proposals from the MLBPA. They're just going to work out something, and then that's what they're going to go with. So, like I said before, lots of proposals and lots of denials. A lot of big things coming in there. So... what I did see from CBS Sports, is there has not been an agreement reached, but there are a lot of things that they are definitely going to agree on, just different things that they haven't agreed on yet. So one of them is extensive health and safety protocols for players and team personnel. Obviously, safety's first for these players, and if the players want to opt out, they should be able to. Larger rosters, potentially a 30-man active roster, and a 20-player, technically minor league season, because I don't see minor leagues playing, so I'd see 20 players from the minor leagues just sitting there. Hey, you need me to play? someone's hurt, we're ready, that type of thing. A universal DH for the National League and the American League. I really don't see how this has anything to do with the situation that's going on, but it could be a step in the direction to give a designated hitter to the National League as well. That would be super cool. I'm a big fan of the designated hitter, being a pitcher myself and not really caring to hit that much as pitching. So, regional schedule, obviously, they want to reduce travel, not have teams fly across the country from Philadelphia to Seattle, then to San Francisco, back to Philly, so many stops. Just play regional teams. Example, teams in the the American League East would play each other, and then they would play teams in the National League East just to limit the travel and limit the risk for opportunity of sickness. And then big thing they were talking about was expanded playoffs, possibly with 14 teams total in the postseason. That could go later than it normally would. I know it ends in July. I mean, not July. Excuse me. It ends in October. Talking that it could end way later than October. So I'll keep you definitely posted on the MLB. That's going to be a big thing when that is released. A lot of sports fans want to see the MLB because this is the thing that should be in season right now. So that's the end of the episode, really. One more thing. I'm so sorry. The MLB has the 5-round draft, usually 20 rounds. That is June 10th and June 11th. Next episode, next coming Monday, June 8th. I think that's the date. I'm not sure. I have a MLB mock draft episode coming out for you guys, so you guys can look at my mock draft picks and watch the draft June 10th and June 11th. Thank you for listening, and stay safe and healthy, everybody. We're going to get through this and see sports sometime soon.